Hey girl, glad you're back. So today we are talking about kids on the spectrum, how it feels as a mother to raise a child on the spectrum, and what it looks like to have a child on the spectrum. So my child was recently diagnosed in June of this year, 2024, as being very high functioning autism or autistic on the spectrum, and he also has a couple other disorders that are separate from autism, but are fueled and aggravated by being on the spectrum. So for my child, he speaks, he socializes. He's actually been screened twice before this and soared through the screening. There was no markers for autism, but then as he grew and his inability to perceive social situations, he couldn't perceive why people were doing things or the reasons behind things, and it would fuel his other little disorders. And we'll talk about those disorders in another video. But that is where it became very clear to us that there was a big difference between him and his peers when it came to social emotional development. So having kids on the spectrum can look like a lot of different things because it is a spectrum. The best way I saw somebody explain it in another video was you have all these burners on a stove, right? That go high to low. You can bake, you can broil, you can turn the temperature up and down. And for being on the spectrum, everybody's recipe, we'll call it, for their place on the spectrum looks a lot different. Some people have all the dials turned all the way up, okay, and it limits them just in every situation. There's no speaking, they have trouble eating, they have trouble functioning, and then some people are dialed way down, okay, and they can speak and they can socialize, but they still have problems understanding social situations. They still have some stimming that they do, and they just kind of don't fit the flow. And there's everything between that. Okay. So having a child on the spectrum looks a lot different for every single child, but it looks the same for every mother because for every single mother who has a child on the spectrum, she has a child who doesn't fit. And she has a child who struggles. And she has a child who needs her more than a neurotypical child would because she is the only person who understands that child. She is their safe place. And this creates a lot of, sometimes it can create anxiety, but exhaustion, I think, would be the word. A lot of exhaustion for us mothers who have kids on the spectrum because there is no break. There is no ability to drop our child off at a function and just be like, oh, I'm good for like 3 hours. I'll pick them up later. No, even if you do walk away from that child, you're constantly wondering, are they going to have a meltdown? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to call me in 30 minutes? Are they going to call me in 5 minutes? Should I have just stayed? Maybe I should have just stayed and just like peek through the window. I don't know how I'm going to get through the next 3 hours. It's exhausting. It's not that we don't love our children. It's not that we don't want our children, but our children need us so heavily that it is exhausting. And I think every person who's listening to this, every mom listening to this who has a child on the spectrum, whether you are dialed all the way up to where your child does not speak, does not socialize, or you're dialed all the way down to where they do speak and they socialize, but they have these intense meltdowns, and everywhere between, I think you can understand what I'm trying to convey is that having a child on the spectrum is a beautiful thing. These are wonderfully smart kids. God bless them with a sense of intelligence that our neurotypical kids just don't get access to. But they also struggle in other areas. That makes it so hard for them to just enjoy childhood sometimes. Just enjoy a day at the park, enjoy going to school, enjoy Sunday school, enjoy shopping at Walmart when it's loud. Heaven forbid a fire alarm go off in a public area. Those things are so loud that even us neurotypical people, it's just annoying. But to them, it's like screaming in their ear over and over again while shaking their body. And it can cause meltdowns. And so for me, my child has a lot of problems with very loud noises and too many people in the area, and, and smells. Sometimes strong smells really make him angry. And for me, it keeps me on alert 24/7, always looking out for the triggers 3 miles down the road, 2 hours down ahead of us in the day, and planning our routine out. And then when we have a change in routine, it makes me nervous because I have to remove these triggers before he gets to them. And so it's exhausting for me in a sense, because that's what I do all day long is I try to remove the triggers, and sometimes I can't. And then we have meltdowns, and then I have to help him regulate by being the person that he takes his anger out on as he tries to regulate his small body. And all of this is our daily life. And so I want the comment thread here to focus around, how do you deal, mamas, with the constant exhaustion? We know we love our babies. We want the best for them. We do, but we cannot avoid the truth that it is mentally and physically exhausting to raise a child on the spectrum, and nobody understands that unless they are as tough as a mother raising a child on the spectrum. So, mamas, I know you're tough. That's why you're here. But I also know you're so tired. How do you deal with the exhaustion that comes with this blessing God gave you? Because it is a blessing to have a child on the spectrum. God trusted you. He knew you could do it. He knew nobody else could but you. So let me know in the comments, mamas, how you deal with it.